I cannot believe these guys got to me so soon. I'm going to be reviewing the new Celestial Nirvana eyeshadow Quints from Pat McGrath that just was in round 2 of her holiday launch. So we're almost there. I've already reviewed the big Celestial Nirvana Mega Mother whatever. And then I'm going to be reviewing these today. I actually have one of the blush palettes that already arrived. It's in my mailroom right now. But on her website, she still needs to launch the blush, the highlight, the 2 blush palettes, the lipstick, all of that stuff. But launch number 2 were these Quints, which I'm really excited about because these are a new format from Pat McGrath. She's never launched a palette like this before. And I honestly think these might end up being more popular than the big Mega Mothership palette. And I'll explain why in a moment. But at the current moment, both of these palettes are only available at the Pat McGrath website. Not sure if they're going to come to Sephora or not. But if they do, I will let you know on my community tab and my Instagram stories. You can buy each of these palettes individually for $36, or you can buy both in a bundle for $65. I picked up the bundle when I ordered this. It came in bubble wrap and nothing came broken, thank goodness. So I think it was packaged quite nicely. So both of these palettes contain 5 shades in 3 ultra smooth finishes. I've already took a peek. I don't think I've ever seen this formula from Pat McGrath before, which I'm really excited about. So the formulas are in ultra soft velvet matte, gleaming metallics, and luminous shimmers. Let's take a look at them because I picked up both. Both are going to come in little boxes that look like this. And then here is the back. Both of these palettes are made in Italy, which is very good because normally, based on experience, Pat McGrath's best formula are normally the palettes that are made in Italy. And then the actual packaging itself is going to come like this. It's the same packaging as the Mega Mothership, just in a smaller format, but it's that magnetic closure. It's kind of more boxy with sharp edges, so it's the same exact packaging. And then my sticker's kind of crooked, which I don't love, but it's not that big of a deal, obviously, but it will have the names of the shade, 12-month shelf life, made in Italy. When you open it up, the palette does not stick up by itself, so you have to kind of hold it, but there aren't the annoying ribbons that are in the big palette. And then you do have a small mirror, and then this particular shade is the Nude Allure. So the total size of this is 4 grams, but it doesn't seem like too small. Let me show you in comparison to the big palette. This palette looks so bright now. So you can see the pans themselves are definitely a little bit smaller, but honestly, I'm not mad for it being such a small palette. So I'm going to turn the lights down really low, and I want you to look at the textures of these eyeshadows because they are different than what I've seen from Pat McGrath before. Take a closer look at Nude Allure. Look how smooth this matte looks. It almost looks like a satin. These shimmers look so unique because I can see the very fine glitters in there. Now, I haven't touched these yet, but these look like a stunning formula that I haven't seen from Pat McGrath before. If you want the comparison, you can see there isn't this kind of finish in the Mega Mothership palette. They're very different. I can't wait to touch them, but Bronze Bliss as well, you can get a better idea of these textures. They look insane. Now, the reason that I feel like these are gonna be better than the Mega Mothership is because the Mega Mothership this time is so colorful. These are so approachable and also much more affordable. They aren't $80 like the Mega Mothership, they're $36. And they're gorgeous colors. So let's go ahead and swatch Bronze Bliss to see what we're working with here. So this is Nude Moon. It feels really creamy. La Vie en Noir. Okay, just feels like a normal powder. Lunar Luck. Oh my gosh, this is like wet. Look at that. And I went in really light. These are very softly pressed into by my fingers, okay? Really smooth kind of satin feel. This one definitely felt drier than that Lunar Luxury. This is the matte, which it's not swatching the best, right? We'll have to see how that applies. Okay, this one was like wet Lunar Luxury. Ooh, this is why I buy Pat McGrath. Oh my gosh, freaking out. Let's hop into Bronze Mink. Not as wet as Lunar Luxury over here, but still really a luxury feeling. Very creamy. These kind of look similar though. But anyways, Bronze Mink. and Bronze Illusion. So it's interesting. This one was really wet compared to the others, but oh my gosh, how beautiful. I'm hyperventilating. As a neutral lover, this is going to be good. It's going to give that glam neutral look. Okay, let's swatch the next one, Nude Allure, and then we'll just put these on the eyeballs, right? This one has more rosiness to it. So we have Mercurial, whatever, Rose, Mahogany Angel. So both of these only have one matte. And then this one is Coral Kiss. So this one's more of a true satin, or not satin, shimmer. Here's the matte. The mattes here are swatching really patchy, which is interesting. We'll see how they apply. That's going to be really important. This is Coral Kiss, one of those shades with sparkles in it. This is more of the luminous shimmer that she describes, and then this is like a gleaming metallic. And then let's hop into Plum Eclipse and then Naked Bronze. I mean, you can see how creamy these are. Oh my gosh. Ugh. I'm crying. These are everything I wanted them to be. So the top 5 are the Bronze Bliss, and then we have the Nude Allure, and they swatched just as beautifully as they looked in the promo photos and in the pan. They literally look exactly how they do in the pan on the hand. Now I will say, looking at the promo pictures, they look more glittery and reflective on the promo pics, but they always do. I'm about to lose my mind. Let's go ahead and apply these. So I'm just using this REM Beauty Sweetener Concealer as my base. Let's go ahead and do Bronze Bliss first. So I'm going to start off with the black because this is the only matte shade. Tapping off the excess, these do have a little bit of kickback. Now I did go in with a light hand because I'm scared with blacks. Okay, it's soft, it's not patchy. I'm going to dip in again, see if it builds up. Yes, she does. She definitely builds up in color. I'm about to get a mess. I already had my face makeup done, so I'm just gonna use this dirty wipe to try and stop any fallout and help with blending, because I am getting some fallout with this shade. I'm using a Rephr 14 brush, and we are gonna work on blending this out to make sure, you know, she's not gonna be super patchy. And then don't be afraid to blend this on the eyelid. Now this is more so a testing situation here. I'm not going for the prettiest look in the world, so we'll see if this palette makes it easy to create a really gorgeous look. Then we're gonna blend it in a little bit. Working with a black first thing is risky, and you'll notice it's a little bit focused in this area, and I'm struggling to blend it out. Blacks are really tough though, so I'm definitely giving it the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna put my wipe here and see if I can just go ham with it. Okay, yeah, that helped. So be careful with this black. It needs a little bit of additional pressure to blend, but it worked out pretty nice for going in with a black right out of it. Blacks can be difficult, and it really has a soft finish to it, which is gonna be really pretty for mature eyelids. And I'm gonna go back and apply that black later on, but I just wanted to get that base there. Might as well just go ahead and apply it to the lower lash line as well, blending it out here. Hey, that's kind of cool. Okay, we're gonna start off with this shade right here, which is more of a shimmer shade. Same thing in the other palette, and I'm going to put it underneath the brow bone. You can see it still does have some sparkle reflex, but I'm going to use this as the highlight, I think, because we have a lot of shimmers to mess with. So this is going to be more on the subtle side of the shimmers, and it still is very blinding. Okay, and then we're going to go into the darkest shimmer. I'm just using a Morphe brush. We're going to see how this applies with a brush. I'm nervous we're going to get fallout with these. And oh my gosh. Okay, so it applied okay with a brush. Probably would benefit from some glitter glue because there is some kickback. I'm gonna go in with my crease brush, get that edge. That's so pretty though, nonetheless. Then we're gonna go into the one that's a little bit lighter. I'm gonna try a finger now. A finger is the way to go with these shades. It's less mess, less fuss, and really gets the color on there. And even though these two shades are close, I feel like they do look different. I'm gonna go into the darker one with my finger. The darker one isn't adhering to the eyelid quite as well. Still looks pretty insane. Okay, we're gonna try this literal wet shade, which I probably should apply with a finger. You can see it literally being wet in the pan, but it's so wet it can be used with a brush. Wow. This is a Sigma Eye Perfector brush. It's synthetic fiber, so that's why it's picking it up really good. It's almost like using a cream shadow. I really like this. Oh my goodness. This is right up my alley. Neutral, but still super duper glam. So let me blend the top here. Probably should clean off my brush. There's some black on here. And then I'm going to use the sides of the brush. And I'm going to start off with this shade. Tap off the excess because it's not going to adhere to the brush that well. I don't know if you can see, but it's almost like particles. Despite it being so creamy, it takes a little bit of work to mush it onto the eyelid, which is why fingers are best. But for these direct areas, I'm trying to use a brush. The shade's a little better though. It's just that dark shimmer that's a little more PC than the rest. And then let's get this shade. You only need the tiniest bit, that silver shade. Then we're going into the black. Then use this to kind of create a little mini wing, nothing crazy, but I'm redefining the darkness out here. Using my concealer brush that has some leftover concealer, we're gonna clean up. This is pretty insane. I don't think you need to use all 5 of the shades to get a look. I think the purpose of these palettes is for simplicity, so if you just wanna use the black and then 1 or 2 shimmers, I think that's the best use of this palette. But wow. Okay, all right, let me prep the other eye. I'm really excited to see what both of these do. Say hello to Nude Allure. This one has a more approachable crease color. So we're gonna start off with this. We're getting some kickback, I don't know if you can see. But I'm gonna build this in the outer corner. I mean, these carry a lot of pigment. Wow, you can go really soft with it, which is what I tried to do with the black because it's black. But I did those couple of dips, and I think that's all I'm going to need. And they are really buildable after you shear them out. I mean, this is a really nice, approachable matte formulation. Now, the black was a little difficult. It got a little patchy out here, but I was able to work it out. I think that has more so to do with it being a black because I'm not having those issues with this, even though they did swatch patchy. It's looking pretty good on the eyelid. I'm gonna get just a little bit more just to make sure there's no patchiness issues. Gonna get a clean brush and diffuse the edges. So yes, I definitely note though that when I go in with that second dip and focus it in the outer corner, I do have to put in a little bit more pressure to blend it out, but nothing not doable. Like look, yes, I used a little bit more pressure, but we're good. It's beautiful. It's blended. Okay, again, a lot of shimmers here, not a lot of eyelid space, so bear with me. We're going to start off with the lightest shade, doing exactly what I did the first time. That's so pretty. This is going to be gorgeous just with this on the lid and then this in the crease. That's stunning. And now we're going to use the plum shade. I'm just going to go ahead and use this brush. I like it. It's nice and small. I'm going to apply this to the outer third of the eyelid, pretty much doing the same thing we did on the first eye, just because it's the best way to see how these apply. And this one is working out really well on the eyelid with a brush. Let me try it with this one to see if it's good. Yeah, this shade is not an issue at all when applying with a brush. It's a really pretty plum shade. I'm gonna apply this to the lower lash line as well. And this one is a little bit more on the brown side. Let's see how this one works. Has some copper to it. Do you see that? Very pretty. Same level of depth here though. So it just depends on what vibe, but I do think these are kind of close. They aren't exactly the same, obviously, but for a 5-pan palette, it's important that all of them really hold their own place. I think these kind of serve a similar purpose. And then lastly, we're going into this shade. All of these are just killing it with a brush. I think this palette is a lot easier to use than the first palette. And this one, again, similar look to the other shade on the eyelid, just a hint more pinky. So I think what I would like to have seen is these 3 shimmers on the outer part of the palette be a little bit more different. I mean, they have very different tones to them, but since the depth level is similar and because they have that shimmer to them, we're only being a 5-pan palette. They're kind of close. Like if it was a larger palette, like if all 3 of these were in an 18-pan palette, I wouldn't even have said anything. They're totally different. But with 5 pans, you're not given that much opportunity for different looks, so they need to be different. But this look is so gorgeous. I mean, I'm not complaining really. I'm just pointing out things that I'm noticing. I'm gonna go ahead ahead and get a little bit more of the matte shade. I want to redefine the outer corner, really have a soft finish to them. They're gonna look so beautiful on mature eyelids. Cleaning off my brush, really digging this shade. This is super metallic, very brightening. I think you guys are really gonna like these. So let me pop on some liner and lashes and I will give you my final stamp of approval. Oh my gosh, you guys. Listen, don't get me wrong. I loved the big mothership that was in this collection, but these little guys speak to my boring neutral soul, and they aren't even boring. Like, these are amped up glam neutral looks, so I'm gonna reach for these a ton. So what is special about these is the formulation has an extra refinement to them. They are different than the formula you're gonna get in this guy. These have more satinness to them. The glimmers are extra fine. It's just, everything's really refined. That's the best way that I can describe it. And that's not the first time she's done that. She typically, in holidays past, with the little quads that she creates, those also have a slightly different formulation that seems a little bit more refined, a little bit more luxurious. This definitely is probably the most luxurious formula she's created in terms of that really soft, finely milled formulation. It's just a bit different. You know, the formula leans a little bit more towards Tom Ford, Charlotte Tilbury in that really soft, finely milled formula. I hope I'm making sense. It's really hard to convey unless you're actually feeling them, but these are a gorgeous formula. They aren't the same formula that's in the 10-pan motherships. They're different. They're one of their own. And they're absolutely gorgeous. Now, in terms of the individual colors, Nude Allure is going to be the more dupable one, I would say, within Charlotte Tilbury's line. Just because, I mean, it's purpley peachy. I'm not mad about it, though. I think it's stunning. I love the plumminess to it. And then the Bronze Bliss is dupable in that there's a lot of cool toned neutral palettes like this, but honestly, this formulation is just so extra special, wet and creamy. I think that's what makes it stand out. Which one do you need? I'm more stoked for the Bronze Bliss. I love these tones. I love these cool tone neutral looks, but Nude Allure is definitely the more wearable daytime one, and I think it's a little bit easier to use. You know, it's not as intimidating with a matte black shadow. You have something that's easier to blend out, and these shades work a little better with a brush. They're not quite as messy, but both are really good. These are a really special launch. At the end of the day, for my reviews, I'm actually very happy that these launched separately because these got to have their own moment and they are different than what you're going to get in this palette. So all of my neutral babes, I'm predicting you guys are going to love this. If the Mega Mothership was too A, pricey, or B, too colorful, these are definitely the way to go. I might be a little bit more excited for these now than I am the big palette just because of how stunning and quality pieces that they are, and they're more affordable, so I would run to pick these up. I think these are great if you don't like colors, but all of the palettes here I am so happy with. She's done such a nice job. I'm excited to start playing with the blush palette that I have. Whew. I'm stoked. Can you tell? I'm really happy. Pick these up if you want them. They're a little bit more affordable. They hurt a little bit less. They're definitely worth it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review and found it helpful. Feel free to share your experiences with these palettes down below. If you have any questions, ask away. Make sure you subscribe and like this video. I will have a lot more holiday reviews coming. I am loaded down, you guys. Tomorrow I will have the Charlotte Tilbury Cheek palette reviewed. I have my Melt Cosmetics palettes, Patrick Ta. There's a lot. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys, have a good one.